water, there's water, spray it.
Is she coming?
She's supposed to.
I don't think
She confirmed she was coming.
I've worked with her in a couple of things. I shouldn't drink in my water.
Will they get out when they throw you out to school?
Gotta ask her.
A question. Something I'm supposed to ask when everyone is here. But why is H.L. Johnson not on here? Because that's our feeder school for gifted program.
Because it's not within our city limits.
Gotcha. Even though it's on this list here.
And Osceola,
I didn't
well,
get
we're gonna
this
talk
one.
about
Okay.
that. So Western Pines is actually in our city limits.
Yeah.
Osceola
that was
is
the
where
right-hand
all
side
the
of
school
the
is
back
actually
in the
go.
type of- Right, yeah.
So that's one thing that can be brought up,
Okay.
with, Ms. Andrews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Grove is
Maybe
there.
that rezone be back into our school. In our,
Right.
'cause that's where all our students go.
Yeah.
Activity, right? We brought them all back.
I'm gonna call you guys up so we can do the oath of office. Can I get Colleen for Lizzie?
Yes. Why have we done it?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me do Lisa Barron first. Oh,
We haven't started yet. They're just doing oaths first.
you're gonna repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Lisa Barron. I, Lisa Barron,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida,
That I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
that I will faithfully perform the duties
of the Education Advisory Board member
of the Education Advisory Board member
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
which now I am about to enter.
on which now I am about to enter.
You can repeat, if you want. So help me God.
So help me God.
Sign this. Colleen for Lizzie. You can raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me.
Okay.
I state your name.
I, Colleen for Lizzie,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida,
That I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office under
to hold office under
the Constitution of the state.
the Constitution of the state,
And that I will faithfully
and
perform
that I will faithfully perform
duties of the Education Advisory Board member
duties of the Education Advisory Board member
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
on which I am about now to enter.
on which I am about now to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Guess I can read this. Anita Kaplan. If you can raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Anita Kaplan,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and the state of Florida.
and the state of Florida,
That I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state.
under the Constitution of the state,
And that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the Education Advisory Board member the duties
duties of the Education Advisory Board member
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
And you can repeat after me if you want. So help me God.
So help me God.
You can sign for me. Crystal Lexima. Hello, if you could raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Crystal Lexima,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida,
Qualified
that I am duly qualified
Constitution of the state.
to hold office under the Constitution of the state,
The duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
Advisory Board member
of the Education Advisory Board member of the city of Westlake, Florida, of which I am now about to enter. So help me God.
Keith Miller. If you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Keith Miller,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and
that I will support and protect
and defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
and government of the United States
and the government of the United States
and of the state of Florida.
and of the state of Florida,
That I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
of the Constitution of the state,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
of the Education Advisory Board member
as the duties of the advisory board member
of the Education Advisory Board
of the Education Advisory Board member
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
of the city of Westlake, Florida,
which I am now about to enter.
on which now I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
As soon as she says, gives me the nod.
Picture.
Do it from the,
A little blog.
you say that thing, Devin. Oh, okay.
One, two, three.
I'd like to call the meeting to order of the Education Advisory Board at 6:08 PM. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Lisa Barron,
Present.
Colleen Forlizzi,
Present.
Anita Kaplan,
Present.
Crystal Lexima,
Present.
Keith Miller,
Present.
all present.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to call for a motion to approve the agenda. I will need a motion and a second on that.
Move to approve the agenda.
I second the motion.
I'm sorry, who seconded it?
Crystal,
Crystal.
all in favor?
I'm gonna do the roll call.
Okay.
Board Member Barron,
Here.
just say yes if you're good with the
yes.
motion. Board Lizzie,
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan,
Yes.
Board Member Lexima,
Yes.
Board Member Miller,
Yes.
motion carries 5-0.
Excellent. Under new business, we have, I'd like to, since this is our first meeting as a new board, I'd like for each of you just to say a few words about yourselves, and we'll start it. Lisa.
Okay. Been a Westlake resident since September. I live over in the Orchards with my 10-year-old daughter. I have been in education since graduating college. I'm not going to say how long ago. Whether it be through being in the classroom as a high school educator, working on my master's and my PhD in education, or through like corporate and adult learning.
My name is Colleen Forlizzi. I'm from Massachusetts. I've become a Florida resident almost 2 years now. I live in Crestwind community in Westlake. And my background is I started in business as a mortgage banker. Then I went to get my master's in education. I became an educator, middle school educator for math for about 10 years. And then I went over to the superintendent's office and I was assistant superintendent for maybe 15 years. And manage the budget and curriculum and so forth. So I have a strong background in education along with the administration piece. And I look forward to being on this board and seeing how we can help the town of Westlake and their students.
I'm Anita Kaplan. I also live in Crestwind. I've been in Crestwind since about, I think, June of 21. I started attending the council meetings regularly because I wanted to be interested in what was happening in this new city. So very excited to be able to do that. Coincidentally, I'm also from Massachusetts, from the Boston area. We didn't know each other before.
Can't tell from the answer.
I started out, my bachelor's degree also had a concentration in French and Spanish and education. Then my master's was as a reading specialist, and I did a lot of tutoring for a while. People that were having trouble reading. And my doctorate's in higher education, research and administration. I worked for 28 years at one community college in Massachusetts, decided it was time to move around, landed in New York in the Buffalo area. I said, it's cold down there, but my sister works there. My only niece was there, and they said, oh, interview for the job. Well, I got the job. So I got sidetracked in colder weather for a while. I've been now in Florida for about 17 years. I worked at Miami-Dade College. I was the president of the medical center campus there. Then I moved to Palm Beach State College, and I started working there on the adaptation of bachelor's degree programs, which many of the community colleges nationwide are starting to do. I started to write down things to talk about, and it actually got too long. I did teach English for a few years at the high school level. I also taught ESL. And I just moved along in the administrative ranks after I finished my teaching, but I did actually do teaching at the state college level.
Awesome. I am Crystal Lexima. I have been a Westlake resident since 2018. So this year will be my 6th year here. I have my bachelor's in communication disorders, and I did quite a few courses in behavior modification in the classroom setting. I went on to do my master's degree in applied behavioral analysis. So I am a board certified behavior analyst. I work with children on the autism spectrum, and I work throughout Palm Beach County schools every now and then.
Okay, good evening. My name is Keith Miller. I am originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Upon graduating high school, I joined the United States Army, where I wanted to see the world and pay for college. Uncle Sam had a sense of humor and sent me to Baltimore, Maryland, 3 hours from my house. I served in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Graduated from a teaching college up in Pennsylvania named Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Became a teacher down here, got my master's, became an assistant principal and a principal. I left education in 2004 to pursue sales, where I was a sales manager for a bank, later into the car sales, where I was a general manager. And I'm currently working as a real estate agent for Lennar Home Builders.
And my name is Greg Winkowski. I'm the vice mayor for the city, but also the council representative for the EAB board. Okay, for the next section, we're going to do an organizational vote for the new chair and vice chair. Upon that vote, and whoever wins chair immediately takes over the meeting. So you can announce a name and then we'll have a vote. For point of order for the, do you want to do chair and vice chair separately?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion for chair or?
Can I just
Donna?
nominate someone?
Sure.
I nominate Anita Kaplan for chair.
Is there any discussion?
Need a second.
Second?
Yeah, second.
Okay. Is there any discussion from the board? No. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the chair Anita Kaplan?
Yes.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay. Roll call.
Motion by Board Member Barron, seconded by Board Member Miller. Board Member Forlizzi,
Yes.
Board Member Kaplan,
Yes.
Anita, you said yes?
Yes.
Okay. Board Member Lexima,
Yes.
Board Member Miller,
Yes.
Board Member Barron? Yes. Motion carries 5-0.
Is there a nomination for vice chair? To volunteer.
I'm all. I'm sorry, Lisa. go ahead.
It doesn't matter.
I vote for Lisa.
Okay, there's a motion for Lisa Barron to serve as vice chair. Is there a first motion for that and a second?
I motion for Lisa Barron.
I second that motion for Lisa Barron.
Motion by Board Member Lexima, seconded by Board Member Miller. Board Member Kaplan?
Yes.
Board Member Lexima?
Yes.
Board Member Miller?
Yes.
Board Member Barron?
Yes.
Board Member Forlizzi?
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Kaplan, you're going to take over the meeting now.
Rest for the weary.
Now, would you like to stay there or we can move, whichever you want to.
Oh, you want to
Gotta
be next?
clue me
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
If you want to move down.
Robert's rules of order.
yes.
Move your one up there. Oh, you're gonna go here?
I'll be there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you. Take out my stuff. Now I believe we're under new business, item C, introduction and district update with my good friend and mentor, Miss Masha Andrews from District 6 of the Palm Beach Country School Board. We're delighted to have you here. I know how busy you are. Thank you for joining us.
And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marcia Andrews, and thank you, Chair Kaplan, for having me here today. I bring greetings from our superintendent, Superintendent Michael Burke, and I'd like to say to Vice Mayor Greg Langowski, thank you for working with the Education Advisory Board, and certainly for all of the new members who were just sworn in. What a wonderful opportunity to be a member of the Westlake Education Advisory Board. I'm so happy to meet you all tonight. And since you have said who you are, some of you may know me and some of you may not. I am your school board member. I've been your school board member for 14 years representing the Western community but I'm an educator. And as I listen to all of you, you're all educators, such as I have been for all of my life. I have been a teacher and a principal, an assistant principal, and the chief of HR, and retired and became your board member back in 2010. And I've been attending some of the education advisory board meetings for Westlake. And so you're in a new location. I know how to get here. And this is something that the school district would like to participate with you. We have educational advisory boards all across District 6, from Wellington to Royal Palm Beach, to Belglade, the Tri-Cities, just all over. And Westlake, you've always been an active education advisory committee. So we do expect for you to invite us when you want us, but we like to come all the time. And the principals have been here before, but sometimes principals change and new people change. And so it's nice when we can come and tell you what we're doing within the schools. And sometimes students come. So we'll do whatever you tell us from the school district, because we are a partner with you. And we just love the great schools that we have here in Westlake and the Acreage and Loxahatchee area, and whatever we can do as school board and partnering with you and your advisory board, we will do that. So tonight you asked me to come and do a few things. So I'm going to do the things that you've asked me to talk about, to update you. And if there are any other questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I'll be happy to answer those questions that I can answer. If I don't have an answer, I certainly will get an answer for you. So first of all, you wanted to talk about the multimodal pathway update. I think that was one of the things that was on your list. And so the school district and staff has been working with Westlake representatives on the potential multimodal pathway connection between Westlake and Golden Grove Elementary School since 2021. I was fortunate to come first and speak with the mayor and some of the people, the elected people from Westlake, about the vision. And it was such a wonderful vision way back. And then the school district of Palm Beach County School Police, our facilities chief, our intergovernmental relations people came and walked the area to see what we were talking about, how we could make a difference for safety for children going to school each day, to get some of the traffic off the road, to do some wonderful things since we have such a wonderful community. And so we've been working on this since 2021. So just recently on 4/2/24, the school district staff met on site with Westlake manager to explore some concepts proposed by the school district. So everyone came back, and they had been working a lot by phone, by Zoom meetings, and talking about what we wanted to do and how we could make it happen. So on April 10th, we received feedback from the city manager that Westlake would be using the existing sidewalk connection as originally suggested by the school district staff. And we're moving right on. And if I'm mistaken, just let me know. But according to the city manager, Westlake, the connection to the sidewalk at the location requires only a Seminole Improvement District permit. And at this point in time, I think they have said yes. So I think we're ready to go. This means that we have come to a mutually agreeable solution. And I was out in the area just last week looking at the pathway. It is absolutely beautiful. All of the homes are coming together now, and I can just envision all of the students riding on up the pathway, heading to the school. Less cars on the road, less time to get to school, and just a wonderful opportunity for parents to be with their children in a beautiful, open environment to get them to school safely. So I think we're already there. And I will stop if you have any questions as it relates to the multimodal pathway. Any questions from chair and?
I don't know if I have this right, but my understanding was there was some real problems with teachers and people who are dropping students off at the school about how they get there. I understand there's a pathway now and that'll help, but then how do they get to the pathway? And what's that going to do about congestion and such?
Well, I think school police will work closely with the principal. Now, anytime we have a wonderful elementary school like Golden Grove and we have a lovely middle school like Western Pines, you always have a few people that want to take shortcuts and drop their kids by. And they mean well, but we have to tell them it's a safety issue. Try to work through the process, go through the line. Most people don't want to go through the line, or they may be running late and they didn't get up in a timely manner. And we have this trouble sometimes with a lot of our schools, and we have to educate parents on how to be the best that they can be to keep their children safe. So as a result, once we get started, I'm sure the school district of Palm Beach County, our facilities people, our school police, our principal, everyone's going to be out there. And I know I'm going to be out there at the very beginning to see the flow. And sometimes we have to make tweaks in things that we do to make sure it works well. But I can tell you, when I look out and I see how the road just comes right on up to the school, and we have a gate there where it will be open and the kids will be able to just walk right up to their school. I think it's going to work well, but we'll probably have some dry runs and we'll do some sessions where we can get feedback from the parents who are driving in, feedback from those who are actually taking their golf carts with their children every day. And then we might need to streamline it and make some changes. But right now, the major focus is we did it. You know, it was a vision from the leaders of Westlake, our Vice Mayor, Greg Growski, and the mayor, and they said, we have to do this, Ms. Andrews. And the school district of Palm Beach County says, we want it. We want you to do this because it's going to make it better for all of us, and it's going to make our children and families safe, and it's going to save time. So we're now there almost. And so as a result, once we get closer to this, we'll be working with Mrs. Edgecombe, who is the principal of Golden Grove Elementary School, and the school district police. Everybody will be in the picture, but we surely want to hear from parents to see if they think it's great. Now, you've heard some people, they don't know how it's going to work yet, and they're kind of confused because it is lovely. Now, Wellington has a situation where they use golf carts, but they're on the regular streets. You are so fortunate that whoever designed this beautiful community had the vision of thinking about this early on and figuring it out, how we can make it work. And so you're already different in that sense. And so we will be having people still driving in and those kinds of things. You know, we have a wonderful crossing guards right there. Those of you who go into Golden Grove, you've seen it. It's pretty safe there. But we will be actually analyzing all of this before we begin, maybe making some tweaks to it to make sure that we have all the things that we need. So it's exciting. I'm sure you all have seen it. So you live here. When I went out to see it, it was just lovely. I wanted to get a golf cart and just ride around a little bit and get the feel of it. So it's beautiful. Congratulations.
I do have one question. Is there a timeline on that? Is it going to be for the 24-25 school year?
Well, we're hoping very soon, but we're going to work closely with Westlake and with the school. And maybe as we move forward for August, we'll be ready, but we'll give you the direction in working with the mayor of Westlake, working with the principal, and we'll give you the thumbs up, but we're almost there. I was looking at it. It seems like you're just about there. So I would assume it would be ready, but I don't want to sit here and override the mayor or the vice mayor. But I think we're just about there. The questions about the multimodal pathway. So exciting. We're building another school and they want just what you have. But you're just so lucky that you have it already on your grounds. And so we're still working with the county to do more of this because the more cars we can get off the road, the more students that can go to school each day with their parents. It's a bonding situation with families, but it's also a safety issue. And what best way to be is out in the open air, riding to school each day with your parents. So we're excited about that. Now, I did want to give you a few new school updates. Much of this information you already may know, but there are 3 new future schools currently planned in the vicinity of Westlake and the Arden communities as follows. The Weston Acreage Area ES 15E opening adjacent to Arden in August 2025. And when we say adjacent to Arden, you still have to go into Arden. It's not on the street. You still have to go in, but it's right there at Arden. And when we call the names like Weston Acreage Elementary School 15E, that's not truly going to be the name of the school, but that's for our purposes and just recognizing where the school is. And so as a district, we name them. But when we really get ready to open the school, it will be the families, the school, the principal, everybody working together, the community coming up with the name. But it's sitting right there in Arden. That's going to open up August 2025. And then your school, Westlake area, ES 23H, expected opening in Westlake on 8/29, August 2029. It seems like a long way, but it'll be right around the corner. That should be open. Now, remember, that's the opening date. We have to start out years in advance as we're breaking ground next month for the school that will be located in the Arden area. So your school, you'll see it coming up, but the actual opening date as planned by the school district is August 2029. And the last one, because the growth is so tremendous out here, is the Western Communities Area High School, 16 AAA. Currently expected to open 8/28. And that school is going to be kind of off North Lake to the back. And you know, these schools, and especially I want to thank Westlake for actually making sure that land was available for the school. This is part of that vision of this community and making sure that land would be available for the elementary school. So the school district is building, but it was because of you, Westlake, and making sure land was available. The same thing for the Arden School. The builder and the community said, we're going to have our own elementary school, and they provided the land. So the next big one is the Western Communities Area High School. It will be a relief for your school, Seminole Ridge High School. That's opening in 8/28, August 2028. Now, the groundbreaking for the Western Acreage Elementary School, 15E at Arden, is scheduled for May 7th at 2 o'clock. I invite all of you, I think I sent an invitation personally, but I'm also inviting the Educational Advisory Board if you'd like to come and see what it's like. You're welcome to be there. It's going to be right there on the site in Arden, and it's going to be on May 7th at 2 o'clock. And if you have time, it's an interesting thing to see all the children who will be a part of the groundbreaking and with the shovels and the hard hats and knowing that's going to be their new school. But it's practice for you because you're coming soon to get yours. So you can get some ideas on what it looks like for the groundbreaking, the tent, the construction people who will actually be building the school. The architects are there. The school district is there. The community is there. We don't have principals in these schools yet, but the bottom line is, you know, we'll have the kids, some of the kids who will go to the school, and the families hopefully will come and see this highlight that will happen on May 7th. Now, we expect to have an advisory boundary committee. That's called the ABC committee. You probably heard a little bit about it when we opened the new Dr. Joaquin Garcia High School, which is really a District 6 too, because that's my district, and it goes all the way up to Lantana and Lake Worth Road at the Turnpike. So we just built a brand new high school over there, and the ABC committee, which is the attendance boundary committee, actually gets together and decides the process of where children will go. So the ABC committee process for the Western Acreage Elementary School, which is Arden 15E, will begin in early fall. And all related information will be posted on the school district student enrollment website and demographics website. So you might say, well, wow. Well, we had a meeting just last week at Binks because most of the children in Arden go to Binks Forest Elementary. One of the things that they asked, the parents asked the question, oh, will this school just be for the students from Arden? And at this point in time, yes, because it's overcrowded at Biggs. We're talking about easy 500 to 600 children that will be going into the school. So when you get your school, we'll probably look at the boundaries too and make some adjustments. But each time we open a new school, if there needs to be a boundary change, and it's called the ABC Committee, the Attendance Boundary Committee, they get together, and this is a committee that's made up with the superintendent's recommendations. You'll have school board members, have members of the Attendance Boundary Committee, a person that probably represents the PTA, someone that probably represents ESC. So there are a lot of people that represent different groups that serve on that Attendance Boundary Committee, because you want to have voices from everybody before you begin to draw people in or out of the boundary. But that's coming up probably this fall. Now, all 3 schools will be built on land sites, as we said before, owned by the school district, land bank sites that's now owned by the school district. The capital plan is updated each year to reflect recent demographic trends, changing needs, capital budgets such as timing of the 23H and the 16AA are subject to change. So sometimes things change, but this is the plan that we have right now, that your school right here in Westlake will be opening soon. We hope to open Arden, and we know we're going to be opening the high school. Any questions about new schools?
I have a question.
Yes.
Will the ABC committee be the ones to determine, ESC and gifted programs for the Westlake School? Because right now, none of our schools have those options.
Well, the ABC committee will be the ones that will actually look at the population growth. You do have a representative that represents me. His name is Stephen Levin. Just jot his name down. You can look on the school board's website and find him. He is the District 6 representative for the Attendance Boundary Committee. Stephen, Stephenlevin, Levin. And you can look him up on the ABC board at the website, and you can see he represents you. So when it's time, he will be actually sitting just like you're sitting, making decisions. They'll be talking about the population growth. They'll be talking about the levels of growth throughout the county and why this school was actually recommended to be built. They'll be looking at the housing development and the trends for the area. And then they'll look at the schools in the area and look at the populations of the schools and see what needs to be done. This is why we're working with Arden right now, because of the overcrowding at Binks, Wellington Landings, and Wellington High School. Because when you go to Arden, you're almost at the 20-mile bend. You're almost in Belglade, so it's a long way. So as a result, you're still busing children a very long way, and the little ones for sure. So the sooner we can get them off the bus, the better it will be. So another thing I think you wanted to know about was the boundary history and when it comes up. So some of you may wonder why Western Pines Middle School is not zoned for Westlake residents. And some of you have been here a long time, so you probably know. But the district staff discussed this at the very beginning. And at that time, Minto, now Westlake Development, was projected to seriously overcrowd Western Pines. We already knew that. And so we wanted to, as a school board, to put some modular classrooms over there, because it doesn't make sense in busing the children that live right there at Western Pines all the way over to Osceola. But at that time, Minto said, well, no, we don't want the modulars there. And so we're going to leave it as is. So we made a boundary change for the children that live in that area to go to Osceola. So you have a situation where all of the houses that are being built there, the parents will say, what? Do my children have to be driven somewhere else when they can get on the golf cart and go right to Western Pines? So that's something that you may want to be talking to Mr. Levin about and the school district, because boundary changes can happen. And so as a result, it is something that we knew it was going to be an overcrowded situation. And we know that when parents are buying in this neighborhood, why would you want to move all the way to another school? But at that time, that was the thought process. But thought processes can be changed and can be looked at and other recommendations can be made. So that's something that will probably come up. So I'm just letting you know early that I think that discussion will be had. But Mento did not want all those modulars over there. They wanted to leave it as it was. So that's where we were. Any questions about the boundary?
Talking about elementary schools primarily, except for the high school?
Yeah,
Wow, you're just talking about elementary.
elementary and the high school, that's it. Mhm. Yeah, the middle schools are not as crowded. Osceola is a little less crowded than Western Pines, but Western Pines has a lot of schools that have choice kids. So when you start busing kids from other places, it can fill the seats in your neighborhood. So Western Pines is pretty full, but we knew it was going to be full back in the day, and this is why we felt like we could put some modulars there, but that was declined. So as a result, with all the houses that's going to be built right there, and then the parents will see all of the all of the golf carts and people bringing their children to school, and they're going to ask that question: why didn't we think that through a long time ago? And all of the schools are great in the acreage and Westlake and all over. They're absolutely fabulous schools. But when you can get to school and you can be in your neighborhood school, there's something just magic and fundamental, exciting about being able to walk your children to school or have them walk to school, and their school is just within the distance of the community. So I think that discussion probably will be had again with the ABC committee. I don't make any decisions with them. They do those decisions themselves. But as I was riding around over there the other day, I said it just didn't make any sense. But we take one step at a time. We've got our multimodal pathway, and once everything gets situated, if we have to redo those boundaries, then I would expect for you all to be talking about that, because the parents, the community, it's your school. These are your students, and the school district works for you to make sure that we make it the best we can for all students. And the schools are great. It's not as if you're going from one school that's not as great as the other. It's about location, proximity, and being able to give the best service to the children and the families of the community. Let me tell you some people that you want to keep in mind if you have any questions. And I do have my little talking points. I can give you a copy of this. I saw a few of you taking notes. The person that actually works with the boundaries, the school enrollment and demographics, is Jason Link. And you can look him up on the school district's website. He's the director of school enrollment and demographics. And Christine Garrison, who's our director of planning and intergovernmental relations. She's the one that worked with the mayors and getting everything done. These are two people you want to know as we move forward. You have a question, you can certainly email them or check them out on the website, as well as Stephen Levin, your boundary guy. He would love to say hello to you all. He lives in Wellington. He's been the boundary guy for a few years. He represents me because I'm not a voting member. Only the voting members can vote on boundaries. It's a real serious issue when you talk about moving children from school to school. I mean, you built this school and you expect to be there. And so you don't need a committee to be telling you that your kid can't go to the school that you probably built your house for, and you were promised that this was going to be your school, and all of a sudden something has happened and the population has shifted and somebody has to get on a bus. So it can get to be really serious discussions, and that's why your representative fights for you and the community to make sure that the boundaries are drawn correctly and fairly so that it doesn't impact people that should not be impacted. It's obvious that Palm Beach County is growing and growing and growing. We're the 10th largest school district in the country, you know, with 180,000 plus kids. And with all the charters and private schools, we're just a big district. And so we're growing back in this area faster than anywhere else. Now, a lot of people want a new school, but we've got to build the schools where the people are, where the growth process is. And when the demographics are looked at with Jason Link, the superintendent, Chris Garrison, and the folks that really look at the numbers, this is why you're getting 3 schools: the elementary school in Arden, your school, Westlake, and the new high school. Any questions about the 3 schools?
I have something that's unrelated. It's,
Okay.
my understanding is in the Arden development, those students are bused to Wellington schools. So I'm just wondering how they landed in Wellington versus some in Westlake. Was that the ABC committee?
Oh, no, no, it was not.
No.
The ABC committee. Well, they don't have that kind of power. I think when the development was envisioned long time ago, they were looking at it, and I think at the time, you know, they looked at Wellington as an address, or I wasn't there, so I'm just guessing that this was part of the discussion, that as they marketed as a Wellington school, and it just kind of happened to be a Wellington school.
They sure did.
It was marketed, I think, on the literature that you're in Wellington, but you're really at the 20-mile bend, you know what I'm saying? And so people bought the homes because they thought it was true. And, you know, you could be up north and you're looking at something that's as beautiful as Westlake and Arden, and you want to come down and be in the sunshine in beautiful Palm Beach County, and you checked it all out. And so you say, wow, I'm going to buy that piece of property. I'm going to build a home. And so it is beautiful there. And that's when they actually developed the land, put the land together to make sure they had a school. But at the beginning, there was no school, and it still is not a school. The kids are going to Binks, Wellington Landings, as well as the high school. And so the same thought process for Westlake. You all put the land here to say, we're going to have an elementary school. I remembered it from the very beginning. And now it's almost a reality. It's pretty exciting. But you all are just so innovative and doing so many things with your multimodal pathway and thinking about how we can make it great. And so the boundaries will be your next thing to think about. When all those parents and families move in there and they're going to see a school out of their window and wonder why they're bused all the way to Osceola, then I think that's a discussion. I don't make those decisions. It rests with the superintendent, but that would be my discussion, would be the next one. Would we actually put some modulars there, or maybe build a building, or do whatever needs to be done? Because I think it's still going to be growth for Osceola too. It's just that at the time, this is how it was, you know, we could divide it up. Westlake was not here, you know, and so as a result, half of the kids went to Western Pines and the other half went to Osceola. But now, with all of the communities that are here, we're in a new place and a new day, and nobody thought about that at that time because they thought they didn't need it. But now it's a new thought process, and as the Educational Advisory Board, you're going to have a voice on a lot of things because you're very powerful in what you do as it impacts all of the schools, all of the districts. Your school board member, we listen to your voice as we do things for the community and the schools in this region. So I don't know if you want me to talk about anything else, but this is what I think I was asked to talk about.
When are the board meetings?
The board meetings, we have one tomorrow. And what we'll do is I will make sure the executives send the education board a list of all of the board meetings. I can get that sent to Westlake so you'll know when the board meetings are held. We have workshops as well as board meetings. So sometimes we have a meeting almost every week. And sometimes you may have a week off, but we have the official evening meetings usually around the 15th or the 16th of each month. But I'll send you the calendar so that you'll have it. I'll make sure my secretary send that to you.
One last question. You mentioned Stephen, Jason, and Christine being the ABC go-tos. Do you know if the school in Arden has already had a discussion about ESC programming and what that would look like, or is that still?
Well, I'll tell you, they don't really discuss that. That's something that the principal, the community, the parents will all work together on the curriculum.
I only ask because I have tons of clientele in Westlake.
Yes.
And their only option is Locks Groves right now.
Yes.
So I know
Well,
a lot of people here in Westlake would like other options. To send their kids for
absolutely.
the ESC.
And once the principal is selected, that discussion begins, and the regional superintendents, Vivian Green, if you want to make a note, she's not your regional superintendent because you're kind of considered the north area, but Vivian Green, if you're talking about Arden, is the regional superintendent, instructional superintendent for that area, and Valerie Haynes, those two people, Valerie Haynes and Vivian Green, but they're for Arden. Your regional superintendent is Camille Coleman Long. She's the one that works for you. And maybe I'll put a packet together. You probably know who your leaders are, but I can put that together for all of you so you'll know who the leaders are for all of these schools. Every principal has a supervisor. And you will get to know who the principal supervisors are. And they're actually in and out of the schools all the time. Today, I had an opportunity to go to Polo Park. I used to be the principal there, so it was nice to be back home again. But when I was a principal, there's always a supervisor. And here's someone that was an assistant superintendent. So you know all about everything that happens in the schools too. But every school has a supervisor, an elementary supervisor that's in charge of every principal in every elementary school. And you have a supervisor that actually supports the high school. So for Arden, I will make sure we get Arden for you all as well as for Westlake, because I think you're going to be interfacing a lot together. We may not know everything today that we may know in the future, but it's nice to know as much as you can about Arden because you're going to be in the same road with them soon with boundaries and everything else. So the more you can kind of see what's happening with them, you'll be ready to kind of do what you have to do. Any other questions? It's exciting to see you all. I love the educational advisory boards. I told your chair Kaplan when she first came and worked with me at Loxahatchee Groves. We just do a lot on the ground. I'm out in the schools all the time. I see Greg all the time, everywhere at education meetings. And I expect to be in here with you all. So don't be shy about asking me to come and bring principals with me or bring students, because there could be a major subject that you may want to know. You know, we now have metal detectors in all of our high schools. We're trying to keep our kids safe. We know it's not the answer to everything. We've hardened our schools. We have a school police officer, at least one in every school, and sometimes more. But there may be subjects as you all begin to have your meetings as a new board that you want someone to come and present. McKinney-Vento was the last meeting I came here. We had a presentation on McKinney-Vento with you all some while back. I don't know if you were there, Greg, but we brought someone that wanted to talk to you all about how, we have so many homeless children and what the district is doing. So I don't know what your topics will be, but I promise you, if you let me know your schedule, I will put it on my schedule, and then principals as well as the students, we will want to come and keep this information informative for you to ask us questions and for us to be an assistant so that we can continue to have the best and the greatest schools right here in Westlake. The questions?
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations. And would you like my notes, or you think you have great notes? Would you like my talking points, or you're good? Okay, these are just mine, but I can make sure you get them after.
Mine's pretty messy too.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Like go outside. But I always need papers, that's why I have to use this.
Okay, so now our next item under new business is the Sunshine Law, and we're going to have a legal orientation.
Good evening. Welcome to the Florida Law of Sunshine and Public Records. Congratulations on your appointment. As I introduce myself to you individually this evening, my name is DJ Duty. I'm the city attorney for the city of Westlake. It's a pleasure to be here. I want to just bring to your attention the basic framework under the law which you're going to conduct your business going forward. There are two sections of the law that I want to bring to your attention and ask you to adhere to and be sensitive to. First is the Florida Sunshine Law. You've probably heard about it, read about it. Well, welcome to it. You're now a part of it. That requires that you meet in public, as you are this evening, with an agenda, with minutes, in an open meeting, and you conduct your business, quote, in the sunshine, close quote. So as an example, please, if you run into someone at Publix and you're in the produce department or the bakery and you see another board member and you say, how about the next meeting? What do you think about our agenda? Please don't. Say, how is everything? Everything good? See you next week. See you. You cannot conduct any business outside this room in according to your agenda. So we're going to maintain minutes. We're going to require that you make motions, second, and have discussion. And the reason it's important that you're a member or subject to the Sunshine Law, because you are our advisory board making recommendations to the city council. That triggers the Sunshine Law under the law. The fact that you will be conducting business and pursuant to the ordinance that created this board, you'll be making recommendations to the city council. I don't want to have a chilling effect on you, but under the statute, knowingly violating the Sunshine Law is a second-degree misdemeanor, subject to a fine, potential jail. But it's rarely happens, but there are criminal penalties associated with it. The second and more sensitive and difficult statute you got to comply with is Chapter 119 of the Florida statutes, public records. So public records are really becoming antiquated with respect to social media. This legislature can't keep up with Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. But if you would, please do not conduct any business on any of those social media platforms. Those become public records. If you have a private Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, use it for your personal business, but do not go on to Facebook and exchange ideas, concept, notions, complaints regarding any business that may come before you as a member of this board. That goes to text messages on your phone as well. Anything that relates to the business associated with Westlake and this board that you will consider or have considered should be considered a public record, so be sensitive to it, please. Other than that, I mean, the ordinance is pretty clear. We're going to adhere to the Robert's Rules of Procedure. As I said, a motion, agenda, a second. You're going to, you've done your organizational component. You will be required to have a quorum at each meeting. With 5 members, you will have a requirement of a quorum for 3. You know, every action that you take, which will constitute a recommendation to the city council, will require a majority vote of 3. Respectfully, keep in mind you are an advisory board making recommendations. You do not have a budget. Nothing has been budgeted by the city council regarding this board. You can seek and make recommendations to the city manager regarding that. You can work through your liaison, the vice mayor. But presently, you are to conduct business in the sunshine pursuant to public records and make recommendations which you think is the best interest of the citizens and residents of Westlake. And I wish you much success. And given that I have a private appointment that I need to make, I'm going to take my leave, but I wish you well. And I'll certainly be in touch with the city clerk, the vice mayor, as to the remaining portion of this building. And I look forward to having either myself or members of my firm assist you. Congratulations and much success.
Now we move on to item E, Advisory Board Roles and Responsibilities.
Okay. I would like to invite you all to, in your folders, you'll see the actual ordinance. I'm just going to point out some items for review. You can read the full thing at your leisure. We're not going to read all of them, but I'm just going to pick out some highlighted spots. It's on the first page dealing with section 2, the purpose. You serve as a liaison between the city of Westlake, the Palm Beach County School District, and all the schools that are located within the city limits. You're to promote and provide public awareness for programs, opportunities, initiatives of the public schools located within the city. Recognize and promote accomplishments of the students, educators, administrators, public schools located within the city, and monitor school district activities. And so I invite you, we're going to get into that a little bit more, but I want you to be looking for the board, be active in our local schools. And what we'll do is when we meet at the, whenever the chair decides those meetings will take place, we do meet quarterly, but they can be more often if the chair so desires, that there's an update provided to the council on the schools. Once they're, you'll be each appointed to a school to serve. And that will take place in the July meeting for the organizational meeting as per our ordinance. But that's something that we would like to have an engagement. I've seen this now at the Village of Wellington and the Village of Royal Palm Beach. They do it, and it's very well done. And it allows the rest of the board members to find out what's happening, and then we can present that report back to the city council. On the next section on your duties, section 4, you'll see a couple items. There's number 1 through 7, school showcases, facilitating and oversee showcases and informal sessions with the public schools within the city. You can read that section. And also there'll be the next section is the chair initiative. The chair initiative is whoever the chair is, they will have an initiative for that coming year to present. So that's something that the chair will come up with, and there'll be discussion amongst the board members. Program development is also another topic, and program implementation. Legislative action, as the attorney had also mentioned, this is an advisory board, and we can report anything back to the city council for changes, which can also be brought up to the our school board member and the school district of Palm Beach County. Other items that you might want to deal with is also school safety, working with our city manager, who will also work with PBSO and the school district police if there's any safety issues, and other duties when you're out and about in the community, input from parents and teachers and the principals at the schools, and of course the students. And on section 5, number 6, you'll see the school liaison. As of now, we'll be taking care of that in the July meeting, where members will serve as a liaison to the public schools located within the city. Liaison sections will occur at the board's organizational meeting in July, as mentioned, and they shall include interacting with the school, select the school on a regular basis to determine needs, programs, initiatives, serve as liaison between the neighborhood associations, the HOAs, and other information impacting the city and the city residents. Within our city limits, we do have 3 schools, and that is Golden Grove Elementary School, Western Pines Middle School, and Seminole Ridge High School. Osceola happens to be where all our middle school students actually attend, but that school is not located within the city limits. But as our school board member, Marsha Andrews, mentioned, that's something that can be discussed about something in the future as far as rezoning those students, but that's a topic that you all can discuss and bring up, and we can have conversations with the school district in the future. And that's it on my side. On duties. Is there any questions?
I have a question about something. I understand we're supposed to work within the city with the schools. I worked with Marsha Andrews some time ago now, where there was a wonderful meeting of teachers from different schools with an opportunity to learn from each other. So is that something that we could do?
If there's community forums out in the community, you can also attend those. You can attend any of the other school EAB boards that are on with other cities. There's 39 municipalities in Palm Beach County. Only 8 have education advisory boards. So there's only 8 some of the large cities like Boca, Jupiter, they do not have them. We're unique. It seems like we're the Western communities we seem to have the EAB boards. But that is something that you can all do that on your own time, anything that you want to do. And, you know, as Ms. Andrews mentioned, there's other forms that the school district does. You're welcome to attend those. As the chair, you can pass that through our city clerk to disseminate amongst the board. Just remember, you can't discuss anything between yourselves, but you can always go through our city clerks and they can convey that.
Okay, so now we are on item F under new business, selection of school liaisons.
That will actually take place in July.
What?
That will take place at the organizational meeting in July.
Okay, you're gonna put it till July.
Yes. And I'll make a notation that I will have a discussion also with our city manager, because I know that, you know, our parents are wanting to be involved, and Osceola Creek Middle is where our students are. So we're gonna have to figure something out there, but right now, we're just looking at the 3 schools within our city.
So now, under item G, it's time where perhaps we could all discuss some ideas that we might have, that we have thought about. Now that you've had an overload of information.
Oh, man.
Anybody have anything that?
I know there's been a lot of discussion in my community, in the orchards, about the buses and a lot of misconduct, to put it lightly, from the students on the buses. Students like throwing things at the bus driver, and these are just Westlake students on the bus. And so maybe working with somebody at the school, it's a pretty big issue. There's a lot of things going on the buses. It's very unfortunate, especially since we just can't say that it's the elementary school where there's other kids. These are strictly students in our communities. And I definitely think that the parents need to be involved. The schools won't do anything about it. But my daughter's friends, and there's a lot of racist comments, physical altercations. And I mean, a bus driver is not paid to deal with those things and should not have to deal with those things. So just from discussions within my own community, I know there are issues on the buses.
Question, are there cameras on buses?
Legally, there should be back cameras on the buses, both inside and outward facing buses. Not sure if they're on these buses, and, you know, being able to pull the footage if that has any type of, you know, privacy or anything like that. So that would go up to, that'd be out of Westlake, that would go to Palm Beach then.
Are there monitors on the buses?
Like no, it's the bus driver.
Just the bus driver.
Yeah.
And that's for the elementary school, you said, or for middle?
Both
Both,
elementary
okay.
and.
I have heard that from some neighbors in the meadows as
Okay.
well, that
Yeah.
they
They're all
don't
on
want
the
their
bus.
kids taking the bus because of what's
Really?
happening on the bus, so.
Are you saying the school is staying out of it?
The school's just not handling it. There's only so much that a school can do discipline-wise, being a public school. And there's nothing the bus drivers can do. It's from what I'm hearing from the parents, they're calling, they're making the appropriate connections and, for lack of a better term, complaints. But the issue is not being resolved. It's an everyday constant issue of severe misconduct on these buses. And personally, I don't think that's a good representation of our community. I don't think that's what the parents in our community have, you know, wanted our students to be a part of or witness. And, you know, it kind of goes up into that, you know, I know it's a very strong word, bullying. And, you know, families are now having to make separate accommodations to get their children to school because they cannot, you know, be on the bus because of issues that have been arising. So,
And the principals are aware of this?
yes, the parents have called, and so I don't know if we want to meet with the principals and see what we can do, or have some type of, you know, if the parents really want to get involved, like, again, like maybe volunteer to monitor on one day and have a sign-up sheet to sit on this, because they don't want me sitting on the bus. I'll tell you that right now.
Is this something the police get involved?
No.
No.
So are we not allowed to remove them from that privilege of riding the bus after multiple infractions?
Are we allowed to? I'm not sure about the rules of the county or,
I mean, I've been away from education for a little while, but I know I had the authority to remove students from bus privileges if they weren't acting appropriately. And there are, from what I understand, there are cameras. And there's all the evidence that you need.
Absolutely, there are cameras on the bus, and the principal is the key person that we need to talk to. And as I hear, this is the first time I've heard that we have this kind of severe problem with the buses. Are we thinking Golden Grove? I just need to kind of be a little, what schools are we
the
talking?
elementary and middle school.
And
That I'm-
Osceola?
Osceola.
The two? Well, I will make a connection with the principals as I'm hearing here, and I'm sitting here on behalf of the school district to work on the bus situation. The director, Shane Searchwell, is the director of transportation with the buses. And the bus drivers do have opportunities to write students up, and that written referral goes to the principal. And the principal should be taking action based on whatever the issues are. Just back in the day when I was principal, I used to invite parents into the school, but that was a long time ago, to kind of work with me, especially if it was a neighborhood or a particular group, because it's a privilege to ride the bus. It's not something that, so as a result, there are things that can be done. So now that I've heard this, I will certainly reach out to the principal tomorrow, as well as for Osceola and Golden Grove. And we're going to figure out what this is, since I'm hearing this at the committee tonight. And so we can work on that together. And, you know, it may mean a lot more counseling, a lot more alerting to the parents that it is bad. And maybe some parents don't know what other parents know, but it represents your community. So we don't want that. And I had not heard that. So I'm hearing it for the first time tonight. But I do know sometimes kids get in trouble on the bus now. This is why we love the golf carts, and there's going to be less people on the bus and things like that, and it stops. But, you know, at middle school, some things do happen. I'm a middle school person, and at elementary school, things happen. But if we know that, and it's really serious, and it's a continuous, and people don't want to put their children on the bus, it's a problem. So we have to work on it. So I will take that back with me.
Oh, thank you.
I do believe the cameras serve a purpose. I know they become school records,
Yes.
so the appropriate people at the schools can view them. Not that the
Absolutely.
parents can view them, but the
Right.
school personnel can.
And sometimes children are taken off the bus and they can not ride for a certain period of time. So things do happen. And we just need, I think, a lot more guidance. And it could be small stuff that gets into big stuff, and somebody's calling somebody a name or saying things. So we'll have to come up with some strategies on how we can do a better job with the bus situation. So that's my first assignment from you all that I'll work on. And we'll be getting back with the chair, Ms. Kaplan, and let her know what we found out. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I just think when we get into a school and become a liaison and see what's happening within the different schools, that we'll
Yeah.
have better ideas of what,
Yeah,
what's
what's
focus
going
our
on,
energies.
yeah. Other ideas that you just happened to think of?
I'll mention something. It's not as, I'm the liaison, but I will mention what Marcia Andrews also mentioned, which is very key. And she's offering that, is having the school district employees, even the principals, come and present before you to give an update on the school. The ones that I viewed in Royal Palm and Wellington, the school district staff did a great PowerPoint presentation
Right.
on programs that are
The
happening,
meetings we went
statistics,
to.
it was stuff I never even knew. And I was like, wow, this is really beneficial information. So it might be something I would really encourage the board to maybe look at that for a future meeting, or even every meeting. Depending on how often you meet. If you're meeting every month, you're not gonna want it every month, maybe, but maybe it's,
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. There were multiple people,
Mhm.
not just the principal.
they have more schools.
I think, weren't you? Yeah,
Yes.
I thought, yeah. Okay. So should everybody be thinking about the interest that they may have in serving as a liaison to a particular school?
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean, my biggest thing is, and I know I've brought it up several times, is the ESC population and the ESC resources. So I guess as
Tell
we-
us what those,
exceptional student education,
okay.
because I do work in, the field of developmental learning disabilities.
Right.
I see just all of the children of Westlake being shuffled around. So I do want, I mean, maybe when we do the ABC, we can talk to Arden and see if that's a possibility in the future. But right now, like for instance, for ESC pre-K, it's just Locks Groves. And, I know actually quite a few parents that are not happy with the program there. So for them to have other options would be awesome.
Well, that would be something I would hope when we invite principal.
Yeah.
Could maybe talk to us about that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So at Golden Grove, they're not getting IEPs or 504s, they're just.
Well, they do, but so whenever a child goes through child find at age 4, that's when the child find like testing committee will deem what school has the resources for that specific child's needs. Any child that's nonverbal, has severe aggression, things like that, the really only school is Locks Groves for a child for ESC pre-K. Then when it comes to ASD, like clusters versus, like blended classrooms, that's where like Golden Grove really can only do so much.
Right.
And then for gifted, my son's tested gifted. We drive to Royal Palm because that's our feeder school. So, it's just, wish we had something closer in Westlake.
So the sub-separate programs are designated for different schools?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. But like, for instance, I've had clients that live in Royal Palm and their options, they have like 3 or 4 schools they can choose from of where they want to send their children to. We literally just have Locks Groves for ESC VPK, or for ESC pre-K. And then, like I said, for gifted, everyone, including kids in Frontier and, all of those schools, H.L. Johnson is our feeder school. So it's just a bunch of Westlake children once they test gifted. And I know a lot of neighbors who don't even sign their kids up for the gifted program just because they don't want to have to go that far out the way. They can't, they need transportation because you don't get transportation if you choose to do the gifted program. So, there's just a lot of pieces to that. And I feel like that exceptional student education population is really in need right now for the Westlake kids.
Is there some kind of a regulation or law about having that kind of service available?
Well, I guess that's what the feeder school is. Got H.L. Johnson, so I guess that's how they fulfill that. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Now, where is that?
Royal Palm on Crestwood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and basically Madison Green.
Wow.
Yeah.
We drive out there, it's 30 minutes.
That it?
What, not
Okay, so now we should discuss meeting dates. I don't know how the rest of you feel, so I'm just going to throw this out.
The next meeting we have for the next quarter is July 16th
July 16th.
at 6 p.m., which is a Tuesday.
Since we're just starting out, we can't talk to each other. How do you feel about having a meeting sort of in between to discuss some of and flesh out some topic ideas? I think we got a couple of good ones tonight, and maybe when people have a little more time to talk about it. But how do you feel about having one meeting in between?
Yeah, I'm okay.
I'm fine. My Tuesdays are the only days that are tough for me. Every other day is fine.
Do we need a motion for this?
No, is this gonna be prior to July, or are we gonna start doing it on a regular basis?
Monday.
Because right now, from what I understand, we're meeting quarterly, correct?
That's the way it's set up in the ordinance. You don't have to. You can meet, it's at the discretion of the chair. The other thing is you can change meeting dates. The city council's, we've done it ourselves. If Tuesday is not a good day for all of you, you just have to make a motion to change that date if that's consensus amongst the group, if it's a Monday, whatever that might be.
Yeah.
You can change that. I know we've done it as city council with different members who've had issues with certain days. And you can even change it from the first Monday or the second Monday. You can always move those around. I will say that for the month of May, we will not be able to host a meeting here because we already have 3 city meetings at this facility. So May is off the table. If you did want to meet, you can meet early June, but May would not be available.
What is everyone thinking about that?
I'm fine with that.
So we're talking June then? Is this date, a good day of the week for everybody?
Tuesday is hard.
It's hard for
Yeah,
me. And I only have that until September. After September, I'm fine. But for the next 4 or 5 months, Tuesdays are really tough. That's my only conflict on Tuesdays.
Mondays are tough for me. How about Wednesdays?
These are, I'm open. I work remote. I work so I can, whenever.
How's Wednesday?
Oh, that's like I said, only Tuesday was midday. Yeah, Wednesday's fine.
Does that work for you, Colleen?
Yes, it does.
So do we want to pick a date in June?
June 5th, that's the first Wednesday.
The first what?
Wednesday's June
Wednesday.
5th.
Okay.
That's the day
What do you
after the
think?
city council.
June 5th?
Hold on. The city clerk's looking at something.
Then will we be able to have an update regarding the bus situation and all that, or is this just a meeting for us to have a powwow?
They said the fifth, but fourth is city council.
I don't know.
So
Could,
I would
could
say-
you give us any information
I
by
do.
June? We don't have a school liaison now, so, I don't know how we want to do this in the interim.
Are we going to keep the Tuesday date for the regular meetings? School board meetings are on Wednesday, so this was just a specialized meeting that you all were having on June 5th. Or
that
are you
okay?
changing the date for Wednesdays?
I'm flexible, so whatever day you guys, I can make it happen.
It's gonna be tough for you, you're saying the Tuesdays, right?
And Thursday is better for me. For school leaders, they're usually at the school board meetings on Wednesdays.
You guys good with Thursdays?
Thursday's fine.
Yeah.
Thursday for the regular meetings and the in-between meeting? Yes?
I say just keep it.
Thursday helps
Yeah.
us a bit.
That way I know, just block off my Thursday.
So Colleen, you have the calendar out. What's the date?
The 6th.
The 6th?
We would do it the following week. We have a city council meeting that week, so we would want to do it the 12th or the 13th.
13.
I'm
I'm out of town. Rest of that month, June.
Starting, the 13th, you're saying?
The third, second, third, fourth week of June, I am out of town.
Get me with you.
Yeah, this is kind of tough if we don't know the school liaisons at this point.
Would you like to discuss the school liaisons now?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that going to cloud the issue?
No, it won't, because theoretically, it's the organizational meeting in July. And I can't imagine you're gonna change the chair and vice chair within 3 months. So I mean, you could pick them now and just hold that, you can re-vote on it again in July as your organizational meeting. So it's, it's up to you. We have it set that way in the ordinance, but, and we had to change this because the way the ordinance has changed for all our advisory boards, that now they switched into every April, now everybody has to reapply to be on the board, and you can serve as long as you want. But that's the way we've set it, and this was a different year, so that's when we had the new ordinance, because we dissolved the other board and then brought the new board back. So that's why the April took place, and then that's why we're meeting now. But normally July would normally have been the organizational meeting. But if you so choose, you can select schools now. The only hiccup that might be, because I know there are parents that are involved and want more involvement from, maybe city, is the Osceola Middle School, which we don't have jurisdiction over them. So the 3 that we have. Just as the caveat of that.
How soon can we meet with?
I mean, it doesn't-
ABC?
We can have parents always attend our meetings and say, here's what's happening at Osceola. We just can't put a liaison in there.
So what about the other
Yeah,
schools?
the Western Pines, Golden Grove, and Seminole Ridge.
Preference?
Yeah, I've worked in high schools. primarily I can do.
Elementary too, for you.
I'd like to do the Loxahatchee Groves if that's possible.
Yeah, you might want to talk a little bit, just give them an idea of some of the work that you've done there with them, just so they know.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's-
so the Women's Club of Crestwood, what was it, I think July, we got together, as a whole community, and we, sent over to the Loxahatchee Groves Elementary School, we collected up through our community, we sent them hundreds of things between, crayons and, notebooks and, paper and you name it, we sent it over their folders and so forth, and, it was actually, I think the newspaper, did the Wanderer do a special? The Town Crier, okay, Town Crier did that, and then we gave each teacher a, gift card for Target, I think we gave them a $25 gift card, and paper and pens, and we just did a whole, big collection for them and dropped it off at the school in July before school opened.
So you know the principal there.
I don't know the principal there yet.
Could
I've
you
met
talk
with
to
them.
him? But do you think it's premature to talk to him about, what we've heard about in terms of the buses?
Is it, can we do that yet?
Yeah.
Well, if you select the who your liaison, yes.
Even though it's not July?
If you guys, that's what I was saying, if you guys choose to go ahead and select that tonight,
Mm-hmm.
it's fine.
Okay.
It's just gonna come back up again in July.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Golden Grove is the bus.
Yeah.
Golden Grove and
Oh, okay.
Osceola are the bus issues.
I'm welcome.
Yeah, see, we have Golden Grove and then Western Pines and Seminole Ridge are the only schools that we can have liaisons with.
I mean Osceola or
Not Osceola because it's not within our city.
oh,
limits.
Western's, okay. I don't-
That's just where our students are zoned to attend. They were not zoned for Western Pines.
It's not too early to speak to the principal about issues. Okay.
Well, you all have to select amongst yourselves, what you're gonna,
Who
what schools you're
wants
taking.
What school?
I'll work with Golden Grove Elementary.
The Seminole Ridge.
And then you can take the middle. I feel like you guys know what to look for. You guys have all these years like working in the school systems. So I would prefer if you guys were the ones to be the liaison, so you guys have eyes and know what to look for, then you come back and we can discuss.
Who was it for Seminole Ridge?
Seminole Ridge.
What?
Who? Oh,
Lisa.
Miller's
That's how you
Golden Grove.
start.
Yeah.
And then who's gonna take,
Which if you want, if you set up a meeting, I can go with you. One of us can tag along until you feel comfortable in your role. But I think like your stance and your knowledge about the ESE programs is really powerful. And
Yeah.
it's something that I think our community needs. Not only we need to support the children who need that extra support, but also the ones that are the high achievers, the gifted program. Like we want those students to achieve as much as they can and go on to these great universities and then come back and be able to live in our community.
Right.
So I think it's really important.
All right.
did somebody take Western Pines?
I'm more comfortable with elementary than I am with ESC middle. That's the only thing. Are you comfortable with middle or are you more comfortable with elementary?
I'm fine. I'll do it. Middle
Yeah,
school's
you're fine
fine.
with middle?
I'm fine.
Middle schoolers are a little scary. I think they need a military man.
So Keith, you're doing middle, right?
That's fine, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
And now
Long
you'll
as it's
do
okay.
Golden Grove. And
So Madam Chair, if you can just state for the record, who's taking which school? Just so the clerk has that.
okay, so we have the middle school, which is Western Pines,
Yes.
and that is Keith Miller, correct?
Yeah.
And Seminole Ridge is
Lisa Barron.
Lisa Barron. And Golden Grove is,
Crystal Lexa.
thank you.
Western.
I think if we kind of get that going, maybe we don't need the in-between meeting. Because now people can start to, spend that time rather than on another meeting, kind of, making some inroads with the schools.
I agree.
Western Pines, is that?
That's why I was confused. It's not on.
It's not on.
Yes.
Here's a question that I have, Greg.
That form will be updated when it's in there. It was placed in there as Osceola, that's where our students are, but that's not in a municipal boundary. That's where the zoned students
I
go.
know, yeah. Did something come up that prompted that at this point, or it's just an ongoing
As
issue?
Mrs. Andrews mentioned, it was the developer who did not want the
Right.
trailers and portables on that location property back there. So they were rezoned.
But we've known about that all along.
Yes, this is pre back in the beginning.
And how soon, I know that Marcia had noted that we can speak to the people that she listed to get that process started. How
Mhm.
soon can we?
You guys are members tonight. You took your oaths. You can go to work.
I'm wondering in terms of introducing ourselves, we can't do business cards, right? So I wonder, it would be nice if there was a way to assure people
If
that
they
we
could do
have the
business
role that we have.
Oh, geez.
Before we.
It's gonna be posted
we,
online.
Yeah, that'd be on the website.
I can,
We can make an inquiry with the city manager about a card. Or even a badge.
Or something.
Something that says that shows who they are.
Just with school safety and things that are.
Yeah. Especially
talking
when
through
you're going
camera
into new
Right.
schools, then you don't.
Well, even if you're passing it to a parent or anything like that. Okay, we will discuss that. And that gives you time if you're starting to work as liaison with those schools, that when July does come, you're going to give an update already, and then
Right.
even issues that they might be seeing that's going to happen in August
Exactly.
and September,
Exactly.
that if we can try to help
I
and
think
work with the
that's
school
better
board.
use of our time.
Okay,
rather than-
July 16th, okay for you?
so are we keeping July 16th as the date, or is that date changing?
First July, oh, yeah, for Tuesday.
Or do you want to change that? Because that's still on a Tuesday, right?
That's fine. I'll figure something out.
Okay. All set.
Tuesday, July 16th.
We're keeping
Okay, we're keeping
July
July
16th.
at 6 PM.
That will be the next meeting then.
Anything else on topic ideas?
I-
We discussed a lot of topics.
I guess my biggest thing, even though I'm doing middle, but my background is in elementary, I know we're looking at a high school. Being away from education, I've been able to experience a lot of different things, and I was wondering, one of the things that I think is in education we've gotten away from are those students that work with their hands and not bound or tracked for college. Are we looking at those high schools having those opportunities that we were afforded when I was in school as well? And I'm not just talking about wood shop and metal shop and stuff like that. I'm talking about whether it could be
Trades.
to be
We have.
apprentice work.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have.
but more vocational stuff like that.
And Seminole, I
There are
saw
some.
them
Yeah.
having a mechanics program, which was pretty cool.
Well, I mean, opening it up more, even more to that. I mean, yeah, not just, there's a lot of different fields out there. I think that we shunned it as educators for a long time. And I think we realized that was a huge mistake. We have such a gap. I mean, you just look with working with your hands, whether it's roofer, electricians, plumbers, and be quite frank with you, they're making more money than a lot of us with degrees.
Exactly.
$350 to fix the sink.
I mean, try to get a plumber out to your house and see how much they're going to charge. So I just think that, when we're looking, we really took a big slice out of that pie and opportunity for children for too long. And they're young adults actually. And I would like to see that make more of a comeback. I mean, I've been away for a little bit, maybe I'm speaking outside, but that to me was, a lot of times, in the real world, that's not in part of education. Those folks are very valuable. And I remember going to college and having professors say to me, do you want to work with a name tag on your shirt or do you want to be a professional? And I've made more money with a name tag on my shirt than what folks are doing with a degree, that a lot of folks go and get these degrees and they never use them. So I think we really have to have a paradigm shift. If we're really talking about being child-centered, let's not cut them out of what they want to do.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Where is the closest vocational school?
Seminole.
Seminole has a automatic, yeah.
They have.
That's our
And there's quite a few, I guess, like vocational style, like programs.
I know they
Oh,
have
okay.
construction, the mayor has talked about, they build a.
Habitat for Humanity.
House, right?
One house a year.
Well,
I know I was impressed
high
with
school
their
did not offer
mechanic.
those things. They do,
Yeah,
okay, they do, okay.
but I like that idea, even as early as middle school too.
Right.
I know some of the private schools in Palm Beach County, they expose children to whatever specialty that they think they want to do as early as middle school. So that might be something we could look at.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up because I absolutely agree with you. We've looked down on those vocations and everything you said is exactly what I feel about that. Actually, I've grown up in a context in the college system where particularly community colleges do a lot with this. And, we even now have women welders that are enrolling in the
Awesome.
program, so.
And Anita,
Yes.
our scholarship from the Crestwinds Women's Club, one of the, we have 2 scholarships that we're voting on next week. One of them will be for a trade, for someone that's going
Good.
into.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Cool. So, what happens if a student wants to study a particular trade, but it's not offered in the high school? Do they have options to go other places? They do.
You can use the choice program.
Okay.
But they have to get accepted.
It's a lottery, yeah.
It's, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So because, and I'll bet if you looked at a percentage of, there's like, we have a ton of programs for college bound, but we have very little programs for those folks that are not college bound. And that's where the discrepancy and the gap is.
Maybe if you two talked about doing something together,
I'm sorry?
you had, Lisa and you had talked about working, oh no, I'm sorry, it was you, Crystal. I'm wondering if when you go into the high school, it might be worth talking to somebody about the vocational programs that they have there too, so we get an understanding of that.
Yeah, I'll inquire. What the
Okay.
prices are and the options, absolutely.
Because I still think there are students out there that, maybe we can do something to highlight that at some point, some kind of an activity. Because I think there are still many parents and maybe students too that think that this is not what should be. Everybody should go to college, and that's not true. All right, so we have a meeting date. Sorry. Yeah, sure.
For Seminole Ridge High School. It's outstanding high school. I was just there on yesterday. They're getting ready to start a drone program there. That's
Oh, wow.
totally new. But they have a fabulous Alpaca Forward automotive program. I walked through with County Commissioner Sarah Baxter on yesterday, and that automotive program is fabulous. And we're building the 11th house for Habitat for Humanity. And those students actually build the entire house. We partner with Royal Palm High School for the HVAC. So we know how important it is to have the vocational programs. And West Technical Education Center is one of your closest technical centers that offer, construction and electrical and things like that. So I'm happy to hear you all talk about that because the more vocational programs, we're going to reach everybody. We want the students to graduate college and/or career ready, both. And so it's a big deal right now without leaving children behind. They need to know they can start these programs, hopefully in middle school as they move up to high school. But Seminole Ridge is awesome, and you need to go and walk it. The junior ROTC program, the advanced placement, a little bit of everything is there, and they're starting the new drone program. So I'm pretty excited about all of that. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. So any comments, public comments now from anybody? Everybody? I'm sorry, not anybody, dear.
Hi,
hope you
I've had
all
my hand
have seen
raised.
the Westlake Wanderer. She's a great advocate for us. I so admire your writing style. Being an English teacher, you should be a writer.
That is very
Yes,
flattering.
yes.
Thank you. Hi,
Please-
everybody.
Oh, please state your name and address.
Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I just want to say congratulations and thank you so much, everybody. I can already see the value that this is going to bring to our community. And I'm sure residents will start getting the gist as we go forward too, and hopefully start filling seats. I do write Westlake Wanderer also, just please reach out if you ever want, me to publish anything for you. Be happy to do that. Now, getting down to business, I love these ideas of beefing up the trades and apprenticeship programs, and the ESE and the gifted programs. Immediately, that sounds like exactly what this was meant to do, this board was meant to do. As a woman engineer, also, I will say that I did have a shop class in middle school, but I really wish that even earlier, we could have had some kind of other shops. I don't know if in elementary school or whatnot, but I just feel like I always thought that was really fun and there was never enough of it, so that kind of sounds like a neat idea. Vice Mayor, on the Westlake government website, it says there's still one vacancy.
It's for the alternate position that we're still looking for.
And that's an ongoing.
That's ongoing
application.
till we fill it.
Okay. And then, did you see at any of the other meetings where there were student liaisons for boards like these?
Yes, Royal Palm has a student liaison.
Okay, because I was thinking in our case, it might be good to have one from Osceola, since it isn't actually under our umbrella, but that's where everybody goes,
We can discuss that. We discussed the option of having a student. I know in Royal Palm, it was the high school president of the school served as their liaison. Ours was, we weren't sure what to do with that, particularly since their situation is a little bit different than ours as a small city, but it's something we can definitely look at as an option. But we also invite anybody from Osceola to come over here too.
Exactly. I mean,
Even
that's
any
kind
of the
thing,
parents, any of the
just-
students,
right.
please
I mean,
come.
If you could get someone who could regularly kind of be accountable and show up, that would, seems kind of to make sense.
And it might work out in the future that there is a liaison, so we'll have to look at that.
Mhm.
Could you add that to your next little update that we're looking for an alternative?
Absolutely.
member?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's going in there.
Thank
Okay, and then I just was kind of curious about the modular classrooms that Minto initially shot down and kind of seeing how the state of affairs is completely different here now. I understand that it's aesthetically not really inviting, and so I wonder if that was the issue. And I don't know, if that could change now, possibly, going forward to accommodate.
So zoning can change. The zone school of Osceola can switch back to
Right,
Western
that would be.
Pines. So from what my understanding is, this is all pre-me. This was way back in the start of when Minto was developing this, before people were actually here. That was worked out with the school district. So that's something that can be revisited with Mr. Levin, that we can discuss having our students from Osceola being rezoned back to
Okay.
Western Pines.
Okay, all right. Modal pathway, I just want to, shame on me, I have not driven out there in quite a while, so that back.
It's a construction site. There's a problem. It's the pond, so.
I'm just a law-abiding citizen, so that's why I don't know what's going on. But I just want to clarify that this is still the two multimodal pathway lanes north and south of a long lake just south of the Pines. Is this the path?
So this was news to me tonight as of our last city council meeting a couple of weeks ago. That hadn't happened yet. So this must have been something that happened the last 2 weeks here that we haven't
The meeting was.
been updated yet on.
Okay,
And maybe that's something when it gets closer and once the Pines gets finished with their development side, because we can't actually go into a physical construction site. Maybe that's something that this board can go view and look at prior to the opening of the school season.
because I'm just wondering, there is supposed to be, a sidewalk going up to 60th. And
There's that.
I hope
That's
it's not them.
That's almost done. So there's a roundabout just after you pass like the woodlands.
Mhm.
And then there is a sidewalk that curves up.
Yep.
As if it's gonna go towards Sixth
Sixth
Street,
Street.
but then you can see Golden Grove right there.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's probably gonna be not south of the Pines, but north of the Pine, like going around.
Intermodal is in between the Pines and the Oaks. The
Oh, it's in
Oaks-
between the.
The
pines.
Oaks has not started yet, but the intermodal path's in between now and
This
then.
cute, like the way the city planners drew it was like this cute, like you want your parasols out, you know? It was like a little walk around a lake, you know, so like you would go to the schools on the south side of the lake and then you would return back
Back
into the
up.
community on the north side. That's what it looked like to me, but we'll see. I guess time will tell. All right, thanks.
I'll ask for an update for our next city council meeting because that will occur first before this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So if there's no additional business, and I make a motion to conclude the meeting.
I have two comments. I'm not sure if
Excuse
anybody else
me,
has comments. One is you have my
can you all
business
hear
card.
me?
You can reach out to me anytime. I am not part of the Sunshine because I'm just a liaison. I'm not a voting member. So you can reach out to me, and of course, you can reach out to our city manager and also any of the city clerks, Mary Ramirez and Zoe Burgess. You can reach out to them. You cannot reach out to each other, just to reiterate that. And then one thing as Mrs. Andrews was talking, maybe, I'm not sure if it's something during the summertime or at the start of school year, maybe as a group, we visit the 3 schools that we do have, just to take a little tour, have a little update. We can do, because I'm not sure how the school district works with adults coming during school time. Maybe it's something we plan one day during the summertime, and we've taken to 3 different schools just in, a short span of one day.
Can
And
we
just-
talk to each other when we go there?
You can talk there, you just can't talk about stuff that we're gonna talk about at the meeting. You can have short conversation, we're talking as general to the school principal about programs, initiatives,
But
that kind
not
of
what
stuff.
we're
We can do
talking
that, but nothing that's coming before the city,
That's a
or
great idea.
before the EAB board.
I do have one question. I know for the city council, people are able to like write, I don't know if people are watching this, but they're able to like write questions. Is that happening
We,
now or?
we are not open for public comments from the public online.
Oh,
Any
gotcha.
public comments must be made in person.
Okay.
Same thing with city council. That changed a
Okay.
couple meetings ago.
Okay, gotcha.
Maybe that'll change going forward when, people become familiar with the fact that we're meeting regularly.
And residents can reach out to each of you if you wanted to bring something forward at the next meeting.
Okay.
They're welcome to reach out to any of you or all of you, and you can bring them up as a discussion for a meeting.
Right.
Anything else? Now, do I have to make a motion to close the meeting? I do. I would like to offer a motion to close today's meeting. Do I have? What do we call this? I'm not, I get a bone up on my rock rules.
To adjourn the meeting, we don't need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
You know?
No.
Okay. Can I just crack this? Thank you.
Thank you.
This was great.
All right.
Thank you.
Very
You're welcome.
informative.
Thank you. Thank you for all serving.
Yeah.